Good evening, everyone. It's Matt Duran here from the CIOB. Really looking forward to tonight's event. It's our final event of the year from the Doha Hub Committee, and we will go straight into quite a big number of attendees today.
Oh yeah.
With this sort of response after a year of so many webinars. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're hoping between ourselves, our COB Hub committees, we're hoping we might just beat a record today by having approximately 200, 250 attendees, which would be really fantastic, especially this time of year, as said. That number's rising, Mike. It's looking good.
Yeah, we've hit almost 200 already. First person I saw was Amna. I'm guessing that's Amna from NAWIC, potentially. And there's Ali Ayad from CIOB. Hi, Ali. He's usually first on the chat as well, but we're getting quite a few messages through already.
We've had registrations from across 40 countries, which is fantastic. Really, really pleased with that. So this event itself has been driven on 4 fronts, really. Well, 5 if I complete them all. We have CIOB and our network. We have Lucia here, our guest speaker for the presentation itself, as part of our partnership with Quantum Global Solutions, our training partnership. And we're also really pleased that Billy's joined us as president of NAWIC in Qatar in order to introduce all the fantastic work that's been done there as well. Together, we've pulled our networks together. We've also got a fantastic group of training partnerships with Michael's company, GHD, Mace, Atkins, WS, Atkins Overseas, and many, many more, Turner and Townsend. And it really just shows that we get that fantastic following when we put all of our efforts together. We're really looking forward to this evening. How are we doing? Over 200, that's good. So hopefully by about 10 we'll be onto a new record. I think the event will probably go on for about an hour, 15 minutes, hopefully, maybe 20 minutes, and you will have time for questions. We will not promise with such a wide audience that we'll be able to answer everything, but we'll have our best attempt at answering as much as we possibly can to make it an enjoyable evening for you all. So, yeah. Now, Mike, would you like to say anything in terms of the start, or are you going to?
No, just everyone. I'm actually looking here at the chat, just seeing where everyone's coming from. See if we can find who's the furthest person. We've got lots of Doha, Dubai. I saw in Egypt.
We always like to see the chat and where you're calling from. So great.
Yeah, let us know.
Sri Lanka, fantastic.
Yeah, I think the presentation is going to speak for itself, and Billy will have some excellent information to share on NAWIC. 2 organisations very close to my heart, CIOB obviously, and I worked with Billy for 2 years. She was a mentor for me, so I'm delighted that she managed to bring NAWIC into this one as a joint presentation for the end of our year, and hopefully going forward we'll have many more events hosted together.
And I think
wow, Korea and San Francisco.
With San Francisco.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us. That's fantastic. Really good following over in Saudi as well, in Riyadh. Really pleased with the support we're getting there. We've got a lot of new members in Riyadh. It's a very important region to us, so thank you very much. Okay, enough of this, I think. Oh, great. Bahrain, Philippines, Netherlands, Ireland. Fantastic. Okay. I think what we will do, we've got some videos to show. Billy, would you like to start by perhaps introducing the first video, and then we will go ahead and share and get on with the evening.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Michael. Good evening, all. I hope you're well. NAWIC, National Association of Women in Construction. NAWIC is a global professional and non-profit organization. This year, NAWIC celebrated its first anniversary in the Middle East in Qatar. Let me tell you about NAWIC's history. NAWIC has been originally established in 1953. Women represented a small fraction of the construction industry in order to promote the industry as a viable career for women and to enhance the careers of women within the industry. 16 women in Fort Texas founded a non-profit organization known as Women in Construction. In 1955, the group received a national charter, and since it's known as National Association of Women in Construction. NAWIC now spans across the United States, and it's represented in various countries throughout the world, with international affiliates in Canada, the United Kingdom, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, and now in the Middle East, Qatar. As NAWIC has grown, its purpose has evolved. Members have immediate access to an invaluable network of women in various stages of their careers. This network provides mentoring, skill advancement, and learning about the latest industry trends, as well as a community outreach opportunities to further enhance the careers of women in the industry. As I said, NAWIC Qatar was formed last year in November as a Qatari non-profit professional organization registered with QFC. NAWIC Qatar is the first professional association of its kind in the Middle East. The association is led by 4 foundation board members and our event manager. 5 women volunteers who dedicate their efforts to champion, empower, and inspire women in the construction industry. The NAWIC board members are myself, the NAWIC Qatar president. I have belonged to the industry for the last more than 25 years. Currently, I'm projects director for a Regency Group, one of the biggest real estate developers in Qatar. Sheikha Al-Sulaiti. Sheikha started her career in the luxurious hospitality sector and worked alongside some of the biggest international names in the design industry. From conceptualization, she gained her experience working on a number of luxurious 5-star hotels and restaurants in Doha since 2009. Sheikha is a design manager for Musharraf, and in 2018 has also launched Designer Studio offering luxury interior design to the local market. Dr. Ghada Darwish. Ghada is the founder and managing partner of Ghada and Darwish Law Firm. Ghada has achieved many important milestones in her legal career. Her firm was launched in October 2012. Ghada was honored as one of the inspiring women of Qatar by Medis Al-Khalij, the authors of Qatar Success Stories. Carly Jane Figgis. Carly is the general manager of BBR, now for almost a decade, an interior design and fit-out company focusing on commercial space in Doha. The BBR was awarded the Best Small Business Award in the year of 2017 by Qatar British Business Forum. And our dear Amna Mabrouk, our event manager. Amna is a young woman, a rising star in the construction industry, project coordinator with experience in real estate project delivery and facility management. So the 5 of us, you know, we all have complementary skills and huge passion to share our experience and empower women in general. And of course, as any other non-profit professional association, we depend and we wouldn't be what we are if we didn't have our sponsors and our partners. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank to our sponsors and our partners. Regency Group, our main sponsor, Qatar University, Musharraf, Public Works Authority, Ashghal, GHD, Parsons, G-Sonic, Erga, Turner & Townsend, Qatar Financial Center, Lean Construction Institute Qatar, LCI, Salam Industries, TMF, and Al Wadi Hotel. NAWIC's core purpose is to enhance the success of women in the construction industry. We facilitate leadership programs, emphasize professional development, promote educational opportunities within NAWIC partners, develop mutually beneficial relationships with our sponsors and industry partners, and provide leadership to the industry. NAWIC Qatar is a platform for its members to meet and enhance the industry awareness, share information, ideas, and solutions. This is about bringing professionally minded, connected, like-minded women from all backgrounds together and helping one another and supporting them to achieve and thrive in the construction industry. Our mandate is to enhance their success in the industry, to unite women for the mutual benefit of all women who are actively engaged in the various stages and professions of the industry, promote cooperation and fellowship, encourage young women to pursue and establish careers in construction. The year 2020 has been notable for many reasons. It has given to us all good and bad challenges on many levels, but has also given us an opportunity to see the world, business, work, communities, and life from different perspectives. Since our launch, we have organized 3 live events and 9 webinars. We have reached to renowned professionals in their respective fields and presented to our audience and members on leadership, construction contracts, construction claims, impact of COVID-19 to construction industry and digital technology in construction. Our board members have been assisting with employments, and we are continuously raising community and public awareness towards the value added by women in construction. So NAWIC, as I said, it's been our first year. So more information, if you are interested, you can find on our website, which is www.nawic.qa, including information on our memberships. So please have a look there. And if there is anything else you would like to learn or know about NAWIC, please feel free to contact us. Now, please allow us to share some videos with you on NAWIC Qatar achievements, our first anniversary, and media prints. So, Matt, can you please play the video?
Yeah, sure. Can you see my screen okay, everybody?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. Okay.
Big thanks to the National Association of Women in Construction in Qatar and the Lean Construction Institute of Qatar for arranging this wonderful evening. Month of Ramadan. Happy Ramadan to all of you. Here is a study where they looked at productivity as a goal in a specific project in lean construction. There's an urgent demand for us professionals in lean and smart to advance our skill sets.
Thank you, Hussein. That was excellent.
Next series webinar on challenges ahead in construction and available tools.
Adopting technology, and we'll talk about a bunch more tools today. Remember that you have to achieve both using quite some time now. We're in the world to jump into the same BIM model. Technology help with communicating inside of a team? Well,
does it sort of isolate people, or let's just...
Rebecca will take us now through her presentation on agile leadership, how to balance efficiency.
As leaders, if we've been in our leadership roles for some time, understand agile leadership and having a diverse and inclusive culture. The worst one that comes after the 4x2 is the Mack truck, and that will absolutely flash. So I would really challenge anyone that had all fives. Point number one. Because I would say that you're probably, that is part of it, but this piece is absolutely critical, catching meaning to the things that are out of our control that we can't control. Now, we can only control ourselves. Thank you.
On behalf of the NAWIC Qatar Foundation Board, welcome and thank you for joining us this evening. The most important part of this evening, allow me to introduce you our presenter, Dr. Nasser Al-Athar.
What is considered as an investment distributing construction? Whether a contractor can bring an arbitration against the host state under, I wish the best of the rest of this year, and to all of the NAWIC communities and the people of Qatar and the worldwide to get over the COVID-19.
You know, it's a privilege to have Dr. Nasser with us, and the session is being recorded and will be available with a copy of the presentation slides next. Introduce our presenter, Ahmed Afifi.
In particular, the part of D, because the subclause is somehow in favor or the employer favor, and this is will be on the contractor favor.
Thank you for giving us your time tonight.
I'm going to discuss more about the practical means and ways to overcome any conflict when it comes to applying force majeure claims. The performance of the contract is very important, and it can be illustrated by providing several clauses that govern such claims.
Be considered as force majeure. Okay, so that was the video that has taken us through the work that NAWIC has completed for the past year, our involvement with the community, and the obvious change in terms of delivering on our commitment and our goals, with going from live events to webinars. We will have another video that we will share with you a feedback from our community on NAWIC.
Happy first anniversary, NAWIC Qatar.
Happy anniversary, NAWIC Qatar.
Happy anniversary, NAWIC Qatar.
Happy anniversary, NAWIC Qatar.
Happy first anniversary, NAWIC Qatar.
Happy first anniversary, you guys.
Happy anniversary, NAWIC Qatar.
Happy anniversary, NAWIC.
Happy anniversary, NAWIC.
Happy anniversary, NAWIC.
Happy anniversary, NAWIC.
It's been 1 year since we have launched NAWIC Qatar, the first one in the Middle East, an association that's created to support women in the construction industry. We have had the privilege
to launch this in Qatar. We're lucky to have many supporters and the support that we are receiving from the local and global businesses and high-profile local individuals. It's beyond our expectation, and it makes our mission and our delivery a lot easier as we can focus on stuff that matters.
Exactly a year ago, on this day, under the warm, blissful night, NAWIC was launched and welcomed by the community. Since then, the ever-active group led by women has been unstoppable. Armed with compassion, bearing the strength, leading the community into a strong woman in construction. I am truly proud to be one of the founders of this dynamic organization. Let us continue the journey and with pride, sharing its purpose to the community and around the globe.
Connect, lead, diversify. This is the powerful and wonderful statement of NAWIC Qatar. I was privileged enough to attend the launch of NAWIC Qatar last year, November, and I'm so thrilled that the organization has grown from strength to strength. This year has been unprecedented for all the reasons that you are all too familiar with. The one thing that stands out is that you have grown and succeeded with wonderful events online. You've developed some wonderful systems, and you've also grown your membership, which I think is outstanding.
Congratulations, NAWIC Qatar. It has been a very successful and productive year for us, regardless the pandemic situation. I invite professionals who are working in construction or who are willing to take career path in construction field to join our association and to be part of this dynamic field.
Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed this overview of NAWIC and our work in Qatar. And again, please feel free to get in touch with NAWIC if you require any information or if you're interested in supporting the organization. Matt, over to you.
Thank you so much, Billy. And once again, just thank you for everyone who's supported the event in terms of, we've just managed to get our highest audience of the year as well. So no pressure. I know a lot of people are tuning in specifically to see you as well, Lucia. We're very excited.
Thank you very much.
And over to you to start your presentation on delay analysis techniques. Thank you, Billy. Go ahead, Lucia.
Thank you very much. So let me first share the screen, please, before we start. First of all, good evening, everyone. Also, thank you very much to CIOB and NAWIC for presentation, for organizing this event. Also to all our attendees who dedicated this time to listening my presentation. I really appreciate it. Let's go to the topic. In the Middle East, the projects are unfortunately very often delayed. Part of this, part of the claim submission is usually submission of delay analysis. The delay analysis can be very often disputed between, or is source of the dispute between the contractor and the employer. Well, international, we have two guidelines, two international guidelines who can help us to select the appropriate delay analysis. One of them is SCL Protocol 2017, recently updated, and of course, American Association, AAC, RP Protocol, 29 RP Protocol from 2011. When I started with the delay analysis approximately 10 years ago, I read those two guidelines, and I can say I had to read them approximately 10 times because it's not quite easy to understand. So what I will try to help you to understand a little bit more. I hope I will be successful. So for me personally, Any delay analysis then brings a fair and amicable settlement is welcome. So let's try to guide you how to select the proper analysis or the one which could bring you amicable settlement. The first point is look at the project. The first stage should be look at the project as an overall project. Try to understand the baseline, WBS structure. Review the as-built program, check the monthly reports, check the contract, of course, which type of the delay analysis you need before you select any detail analysis. Once you do this, because we should remember when we look at the construction project or, for example, skyscraper, I will look at that and I see where is the possible critical delay, where is the critical path going across. So we have foundation, we have construction of the floor, then we do MEP works, then we are doing facade in parallel with MEP works, so we can see two possible shifts in a critical path. So after this, we can then concentrate on selection of the delay analysis when we completely sure which type of information we have. Well, when we go to detailed delay analysis, we can select the analysis which is prospective or retrospective. Which one is better? That's a very difficult question. We can select the prospective, which is our modeling type of the analysis. It is impacted as planned or time impact analysis. Why is this analysis modeling? It's because we model the delay event. Also, when we are at the beginning of the project, for example, when we receive the site instruction, we don't have other option than only selecting the impacted as planned analysis. Another group of the analysis is forensic delay analysis, which is more for the project which are well developed or very close to the end. So we can identify the existing delay events very easily, and we are doing a forensic, basically reviewing the past. I call it like doing a little bit of Sherlock Holmes work, because it's investigation what actually happened on the project. The type of the analysis is called as-planned versus as-built, Windows time slice, or as-planned versus as-built in Windows. Or also we can call it time impact analysis in Windows, which is combination between prospective and retrospective analysis. But we are going to discuss this later. I'll talk about this later. The next helper, how to select the delay analysis, could be this little table, which is trying to give you a guidelines. When you will try to answer all those questions, it should point you out in the right direction. For example, we know, or for those who doesn't know, there are two groups of main where we can basically split the analysis into it's a cause and effect analysis, and effect then cause analysis. The typical cause and effect analysis, when we know, like I mentioned, this site instruction is impacted as planned, or time impact analysis. We know the cause of the problem, or we receive the variation. So we know the cause. What we are trying to identify and calculate is the effect of the analysis, is the effect of this delay event, basically. The another set of group of the analysis is effect and cause, which is basically connected with a retrospective investigation. We know what happened. We know what happened on our updated schedule. We are issuing every month updated schedule, so we know where the time got lost. What we are trying to identify here is a cause of this problem. And we can do it investigation across the letters, minute of meeting, or talking with the people, trying to understand what actually happened on a project. The first, as I suggested, is to do a little bit of stage 1 overall review. When we split the project, when we look at the project, review the critical path, we can check was it actually all the scope, was the all scope included in our original program, how was the WBS structure. We can use only simple pen and paper to do simplified analysis, or we can use Excel sheet to group, basically to group activities per traits, which is quite useful to do this, especially when you are thinking to do in the future like disruption claim. So you can allocate activities per trait, then check the resources per trait, assign the cost. So this is very useful. After this first review, once you do it and you are on a way to select the proper or detailed analysis, then you can decide if it's impacted as planned or time impact or as planned versus as built or another different type of analysis, which I'm going to talk about. But let's look at the history a little bit. In Qatar, generally in the Middle East, I would say that 20-15 years ago, when the big project started, often we could see the requirement coming to do impacted as planned. And that's connected with the project which started at the beginning, because once you are at the beginning, there's only one chance what you can do. You will receive site instruction and you will introduce this and try to present the impact on a completion date. Later on, when the big project got well developed, time impact analysis became very popular. That was around 2010, let's say. Then the contractors were submitting the delay analysis according time impact. Also, this type of analysis was supported by SCL protocol 2002, and it is recommended because during the project you should always submit your fragnet within a notice. So there should be some time calculation or presentation of the time impact. Well, this type of analysis sometimes could possibly create unrealistic results. So this went to the development or use of window analysis methodology, because we wanted to assign to see the progress, to see the actual sequence. So window analysis became very popular for calculation of the concurrent delay or mitigation, acceleration. Now, when we are coming completely, the projects are at the end, we realize that window analysis is sometimes problematic to calculate concurrent delay. So we are trying to develop a type of the analysis again to make it easier and easy to read and understand for the employer or for the contractor as well, basically supporting the project. But this is what I would like to present tonight, this history. So delay analysis is not only once it was developed, but it is developing during the years, basically, because of experience on a project. So let's go back to impacted as planned. What do we need? Baseline, simply more of the people know this type of the analysis, so I will not spend too much time discussing this one. So we need to check, first of all, does it include all scope? Does it have a correct logic, correct critical path? Then building the fragment. Building the fragment is very important. You should definitely allocate the correct start, correct finish date, build the proper logic, and of course impact the right activities, the correct activities. So we can see on this example, there is a baseline program. We build the fragnet, as I mentioned before. We insert the fragnet, press the schedule, and reschedule. Now the completion date will move. The difference between completion after the impact and original completion, that's our EOT based on this fragnet, based on this delay event. What is very important, and many people forgetting this on their analysis, is presenting the summary view, summary of your analysis. There is 600 pages of your analysis, details, snapshots, everything. But at the end, there should be some summary page which will summarize. It will summarize all your delay events and where is the potential critical paths. We can present the critical paths even when there is an impacted test plan, because every baseline has some critical paths. What is important when we look at what we need to present is definitely data date. In our case, because it's impacted test plan, it will be the same like a project start date. Start of the delay, finish of the delay, then completion date before the impact, and of course, completion date after the impact. So simple presentation of your result will make it easier for you to present to the engineer, employer, or the other client. So as we see on this one, this is just a zoom in to the detail to make it more easy to understand. So EOT entitlement in this case for as a result is 89 days. Disadvantages, advantages and disadvantages. Well, impacted test plan should be quite easy. As-built data are not required. Sometimes when we don't have as-built data and you are pushed away to do impacted S-plan, please at least build your fragnet according actual record. Make sure the fragnet is supported with actual proper documentation and reference, so you can substantiate that and try to create it, give a little bit more realistic to this outcome, to this type of analysis. As we know, it does not consider the contractor progress, mitigation, or concurrency. Does not take into account the critical paths, changes across the program, across the progress on a project, or monthly progress, and it is difficult to ask for mitigation or any concurrency or any money using this type of analysis. Time impact analysis. Another popular analysis, it's a typical prospective analysis. Apart from baseline, what do we need? We definitely need updated programs. How do we perform this type of analysis? Often when we are starting with time impact analysis and our delay even is at the beginning, it will always look like impacted S-plan, because that's the starting point. You will start from the baseline. But the other delay events, when the delay event occurred during the project, what you should build your fragnet, check the starting date of your fragnet, properly identify the updated schedule, introduce this fragnet into the updated schedule and connect with the successor activities, impact the schedule, press the reschedule, and let's see the completion after the impact. So the EOT in this case is the movement between completion after the impact and completion before the impact date. Often also I saw many delay analysis when the impact was calculated from original completion. That's not how it should be. That we will call this impacted S-plan if you want to calculate EOT from original completion. So as a result, presentation of the result, what we will use is a very similar table like for impacted S-plan, But what is the difference is when we look a little bit closer, there is a data date. Data date will change. So it's a data date of the program which we used. Then what changed as well? Completion date before the impact. Completion date before the impact is different. In impact, it was the same. Completion after the impact, we have to also mark because that will be our main source of EOT. When we look at the graphical representation, we have delay events, which are analyzed in 2017, let's say in this case, and on a critical path, but the impact is presented in 2018. So we have to be careful to decide between what is a delay event, what caused this delay event, and what is the impact, and where is the impact going. What we can do when we assign the progress at the end, we can show overall mitigation as well using on this type of analysis. So no problem. It has many options or many opportunities. You can assign the progress behind after each delay event or overall. So if you are interested to present or show overall mitigation. What are the advantages? Advantages, okay, it takes project status into the account as well. So it's calculating with the progress. It's reflect the logic and sequence if it made by the contractor. It generates, okay, this was the problem which I mentioned before. It possibly could generate more time for the contractor than he really needs, because that comes especially on an infrastructure project. When you have an infrastructure project and especially local roads, you have 100 roads, and if you decide there is some logic, and if you decide to impact one road, it will automatically, based on the logic, it will impact all other roads which are in a sequence. So what is definitely needed is introduced progress to show how the sequence work and possible mitigation. Time-consuming disadvantages, it can be time-consuming. It highly depends on the type of the delay event, how many delay events you have, and if you wish to develop the FragNet in a very, very detailed, if you wish to build the FragNet very details, then yes, that can be time-consuming, and all the FragNet should be substantiated with letters and proper correspondence. So yes, it could take time. Let's go to another type of the analysis. How to present, for example, how to present disruption, or how to avoid this creation of unrealistic EOT. To do this type of analysis, which I'm going to present, apart from updated schedule, the updated schedule should be properly resource loaded. We should all remember then program software is there to help us to collect the important information. It's not there to do analysis instead of us. So we should definitely use our brain how to present the outputs, and how to make it easy for people, especially who are not involved with Primavera or other software. Well, what can we see in this type of analysis, which is SPON versus SBL in Windows, or what I called is SPON versus SBL in Windows, because it takes data, the main source of data are P6 updates. So what we can see here clearly, it's building the presenting data using SCALs. What we are doing here is grouping it per proper trade. In this case, it's a block work trade. So we will select this trade from baseline, compare with the actual. And as you can see the difference, there is clear difference delay to start 4.5 months. This is very easy to do as a time impact as well, because you have fragment when it should start here and it finished here. So that's easy. The problem is coming when there is a disruption and there is not really clear start and clear end of the event. So the presentation in this format is more appropriate, and also the disruption, the type of the analysis is supporting your disruption claim. So you just assign your resources, assign the cost. You can easily present what happened on a project. Well, how does it work? It continues across all works. So you will start from the foundation for excavation trade. You know, without excavation, you can't really continue with building the foundation. Without having foundation, you can't continue with the walls on the top. You can't, your MEP works can't start, then you can't do your facade. So it's all connected, and to analyze the critical path, you can use your engineering judgment. And this is the way where we are pushed to use your brain to analyze the project. Don't rely only on a P6, because as we know, the program can have a wrong logic. That could definitely happen. And as a delay analyst, we have to be fully aware where is this wrong logic coming from, what caused it, and how this can impact our delay analysis. To make it substantiated, what we are adding to this overall summary analysis is also, of course, details about cause or possible cause. If you can add some pictures or some snapshots from the documents, that is also helping the story. The type of the analysis is mostly used at the end of the job, when the contractor is trying or got EOT entitlement, but no prolongation cost because of concurrency. It's very helpful when we are trying to present a concurrent delay or possible concurrency. Then disruption claims as well. Well, it's easy to understand, because at the end the result, you have all project on one A3 format sheet. The disadvantage is the first impression when people will see the analysis, they think it's not modeled analysis. Yes, it's not modeled, it's not time impact analysis, because it's not stripping the events which we want to present. It's presenting overall project. And as it happened, we should remember that data are collected from Primavera P6. So in terms of source, it's exactly the same when we will do classic window analysis, because we are not modifying anything. So it's possible to consider as observational interpretation than forensic analysis, because like I said, this is not modeled analysis, and you can apply your engineering judgment where the critical path was going on a project. And as we know, many successful project was built without any software, such as Eiffel Tower, I don't think, or pyramids. They never needed some software, and they were able to build it. So we should be able to identify the critical path also. Well, but for those who would like to understand more Windows time slice analysis in P6, so I prepared here also little snapshots. This is the baseline. Let's talk about baseline. First window 1, what we will do, we will just check at the end of the window 1 the progress. We will compare it with the baseline. Yellow activities are representing our previous update, our previous program. In this case, it is our baseline. So we will track the movement of the completion date in 4 days. What was happening before was when the delay analyst will just present, yes, it moved, the completion date moved by 4 days, but did not try to allocate why this completion date moved by 4 days, was not trying to identify cause. In this case, we can see the cable trench moved, and this activity caused this movement, but we don't know what caused this problem. So what we have to go to review again the correspondence letters, investigate what actually happened behind this activity. And only like this we can have a fully substantiated analysis. So it must be supported, it's cause and effect analysis. Well, then we moved from first window, we will move to the second window. Tracking, the principle is exactly the same. We are comparing the actual status with the status from the previous window. So that's like this. We can easily get across whole project. For those who are interested to check it closer, feel free later on. Well, I think my laptop is just showing me battery. Battery is out. So let me switch on the energy and power. Well, okay. So Windows, what is important also at the end of each window analysis is presenting the results. Presenting the results, what we can do, we can use a simple format of the table like this. It's exactly, or it's similar like before I was using, but what I added here is data date of the program which I'm using and forecasted completion date. Forecasted completion date is important for us to track the cumulative EOT entitlement. So if I have 191 days here, I'm definitely looking for 192 days across the critical path. So you can see on marked as a red line across the 5 delay events which occurred on the project. So that's very easy representation of the delay events. What is the advantage? It could demonstrate acceleration, mitigation, and concurrency as well. It uses the actual progress data. Disadvantage, to present this mitigation or acceleration or potential concurrency, that could be quite difficult in some cases, especially when the logic of the program is not perfect. The logic is not perfect, and you need to try to understand what's going on. So it's not just simply using the collapsing method to strip out few activities. For example, personally, I don't like to collapse anything because I had experience from collapsing or requesting remove the employee delay events which cause like, oh, remove IFC drawings, then of course on critical path shop drawings stayed there, and the contractor was blamed for shop drawings delay. I said, no, shop drawings were delayed because of IFC caused this delay to the shop drawings. So we have to be careful, what are we removing, with what are we playing, actually. Combination time impact analysis. So time impact analysis in Windows, how it works. For me, this analysis is a combination of retrospective and prospective analysis. So it's a combination of time impact analysis and Windows analysis. It's like 2 in 1, basically. How does it work? It's very similar. What is the difference is only instead of observing delay events, we are introducing the delay event fragment into the schedule. So very similar like in a time impact. So we are building, we are modeling the delay fragment and introducing this into the schedule with the proper logic and a sequence of the activities. At the end of the window, we will put the progress. Like this, we are modeling second window as well. When you have the delay event which continues across the window, you just simply continue with the window and assign the progress at the end of the window. So as a result, you will have the results same like in a window analysis, but the difference is only you will see the cause what caused this delay event, or what caused this movement of the completion date. Well, this is a typical presentation of the time impact windows in Windows. What is different here? What we can see, there is a red line representing the critical paths, but there are also the black rows which are representing impact, which we were able to see in impacted S-point analysis and time impact analysis. So that is like blended, all mixing together. What is advantage? Okay, advantage for me is like I said, blending in together. It's prospective and retrospective analysis. It's used especially on a project when you are at the end of the project. You know you should do retrospective type of analysis, but your contract is saying use time impact analysis. So in this case, it's very comfortable to try to use something like this. You will satisfy all parties. Well, it can be time consuming because it highly depends on the amount of the event which you have. It also requires accurate as-built data, like every time, every type of the model analysis or the P6 analysis require the proper logic. So you need to be careful what you are impacting, what are you connecting with what, basically. Well, in summary, what I would like to suggest is every project has a start and finish date, but the selection of the analysis highly depends on the status or phase of the project. So there is not like you can apply only one for everything. It could be different as per the phase which project is actual at the moment. For example, if you are at the beginning, you can use impacted S-plan, where no updates or as-built variable or produced. When you receive the side instructions, let's use this one. When during the project, when you are in the middle and you need to submit your notices and properly presenting the fragment, use time impact analysis on a prospective basis, because you want to understand the impact of the delay event, which this site instruction is going to cause. Well, then you are coming close to the end. You got the EOT requirement, but you didn't get any prolongation cost because of concurrent delay. or you still trying to negotiate your disruption claim. So let's try to use S-Plan versus S-Build in Windows Excel format, which is preferred in actual court cases and arbitration, because it simplifies the issues and it's putting it all on a one page. And you can easily understand which delay event is possibly concurrent. As we know, it's very rare and it's a specific topic. It's a topic for another long session, I think. What we can do, why the concurrence is better than to analyze using this method than in a window time slice, because when you have window time slice method, the activities are presented sometimes like a long blue bars. What you can get 2 years long blue bar, which you will take, you will make a mistake and you will say this is the contract concurrent delay. Or when you will look at the S-curve, you will see that the works were completed 99%. After 6 months, what was outstanding was for 1% for 1.5 years. So this should not be taken as a concurrent delay. We saw those examples also. When to use Windows time slice method. You can use this method when you completely sure the monthly updates and the logic links are correct. As we know, this is very difficult on a especially huge massive project to make sure everything is properly correct linked and everything going fine. Well, time impact analysis in Windows, I would like to suggest if you have time impact requirements, you are at the end of the project, you can use this type of analysis. How it calculates the concurrent delay, yes, it could be used also, but it is used for certain times for the only concurrent delay which you present as a delay fragment. So I think at the end of the presentation, like I said, any type of the analysis which will bring you a fair and amicable settlement is for me welcome, and the types which I presented you are the types which we used frequently and were one of the most successful to bring some resolution. So thank you very much, and I'm looking forward for your questions. Stop the sharing.
Thank you, Lucia. Thank you so much. We've had lots of questions, as would be expected. I'm just wondering if I can get the everyone else on the.
Bring me back, please, Matt.
Can I get you back, or do you need to get back yourself?
No, you need to bring me back.
Technical abilities are.
Same way you stopped it, surely.
Let me just bear with me a second. Mike, do you want to head on with the first
yeah, I'll start. So let's just start from the top. We've had 12 questions so far, some really good ones. So from Mustafa Shams, what shall be the method of analysis which will be agreed with the customer if it is not defined in the contract?
Well, this is very general questions. Do you have something easier, like how I'm doing, or something about the weather, or something like that, or what I want for dinner? Well, yeah, okay. So each type of analysis, when it's not defined in a contract, like I said, it depends on a project or in a phase which you are. At the beginning, okay, you don't have any other option, only use impacted S-Plan. When you are in a phase in the middle, you can use time impact. It depends when you should present additional work. It depends on the event also. If you have site instruction or you have additional works, time impact is the best to quantify the impact from the additional works. When is the delay even which happened, and you know what it was, or it had some defined start and finish date? Let's go to use retrospective analysis. That's always better. When you want some money, concurrency or present disruption, let's use SPON versus S building windows with presentation of the S-curves, which could help you with the disruption claim preparation. So definitely the selection depends on a job as well. That's the first. Yeah, what is your job? Is it a skyscraper? Is it the infrastructure? There is many requirements. So I don't know if I can't give you a clear answer.
No, I think that's great. You've explained it well. It depends on the job, and it depends on what stage you're at as well. So, Mustafa, if you want to expand on that, please feel free to put it in the question again.
Yes.
Moving on, I've got one from Amin. I think this was maybe during the presentation. It just says delay from client perspective or contractor. Maybe that's in regards to the stage you were at in the presentation. I mean, if you want to expand on that question, please put it in.
Delay from the client perspective, how does it mean? Does it mean like he is analyzing the delays from the client side?
Possibly. I don't. Let's not speculate. Let's see if it comes.
Yeah, if you can clarify the question, because that I can.
We've got one here from Amjad. What was the two guidelines for the delay analysis?
The two guidelines are Society of Construction Law 2017. That's a new one. That's updated version from 2002. That's English guideline. And another one is AAC, which is American Association for Cost Engineers. It's 29RP protocol from 2011.
Next question, Sami. It's required to make the project total flow equal 0 before the start of the delay analysis, as mitigate the delay from contractor side.
Well, at the beginning, each baseline has a 0, because that is when the point when we start. So that's the 0. So you will get 0 if you like it or not at the beginning. What was the next one? There was.
I'll repeat again. It's required to make the project total flow equal 0 before start the delay analysis, as mitigate the delay from contractor side.
Well, if you start from the baseline, you have to starting point is always baseline, and that's a 0 point.
Okay. Great. The next one from Kushal is very long, so bear with me.
Okay, let's do it in a part.
Yeah, I'll do it slowly and as clearly as I can. Okay. So, with reliance to AACE and SCL guidelines, how far are contractors allowed to change the contemporary schedule, monthly updates, while performing any delay analysis?
Okay, let's stop here. Stop here, yes. Well, AACE, if you will read the guideline, before you start any type of the delay analysis, what you have to do, you have to review the schedule. It's a schedule, it calls a schedule variation protocol. So you do have opportunity to change your logic or correct schedule, but you have to present this like this is what you corrected, and the other party has to accept that it's a realistic correction. It's not like sometimes you can have connection link between a foundation and roof. Yes, that is extreme. and nothing middle. So
Mhm.
that must be a reason. Yes.
Okay. So then it goes on to say, we have seen cases where contractors change the monthly update, substantial modifications in the name of rectification, articles references in AACE and SC guidelines. To put into perspective, if a contractor selects window slicing delay analysis method and in the process rectifies the contemporary schedule updates to suit its position, how far are these challengeable in arbitration and in courts?
Well, when you prepare the analysis and which you can challenge him, the decision will the decision will be on a judge and arbitrator to decide. So if you think you are entitled and they did modifications which are not in line, let's do it and challenge it. What I have, one example which I have, we had a contractor who wanted the EOT, came with the updated schedule, and there was nothing, there was no delay. So why do you need a completion day? Why do you need EOT? There is no delay. So in that case, what we had to do, we had to correct all monthly updates to actually reflect some delay, because there was a delay, but they were manually cutting the duration from the subsequent activities, changing the logic, which was not realistic. Of course, you have to correct this.
Okay. Thank you. Guys, Billy and Matt, feel free to join in.
Yeah, I'll do the next one if you like.
I just looked up, literally I was asking that question and I looked up and I saw we doubled in the number of questions in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, there's quite a lot coming through. So the reality is we won't be able to get through everyone, but I'm interested to pull out Richard's question for you, Lucia, because he said, hi, Lucia, which probably means he might know you, first of all. What are your views regarding time is of the essence contracts? Do they really help in reaching the intended date for completion, or do they hinder the preparation and agreement of the claims? What's your views?
What is my view?
Regarding time is of the essence contracts.
Time is of the essence contract. No, I don't understand completely the questions.
Okay, so what do we think Richard means by that? And let's see if he can expand on that. Richard, if you're there.
Time is of the essence contracts. Do they really help in reaching the intended date for completion? Do they hinder the preparation? Maybe he's talking about early starts to construction or things like that. You know, I've experienced this a lot. They change the procurement route halfway through the design, and I think you touched on earlier, you know, removing the IFC to get the contractor on site faster.
You think like a fast track project?
Yeah,
something like that. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. I have not seen it in the contract like timing in the essence, but yeah, there's some fast track projects, national importance. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, it's difficult subject, because I will always want to have a design ready before, because not having a design ready and then starting the constructions can create a huge amount of problems and disruption at the end in a process also. So apart from delay to start, you will have a lot of start and stop on work. Well, what I think, I don't suggest to do any construction without having a design. But as we know, fast track projects, sometimes it's not possible. So then make sure what the employee can do, or engineer, at least make sure the project or answers on design or comments, it's not a 10 times revision. It's once commented, implemented, and that's it. That is what I understand. It's like time of essence and fast track project. It should not be like I will send my comments back, then a contractor will resubmit, and then someone else will comment, the new comments will come, and we will get the 10 resubmission and no approval at the end. So this is what is really problem.
Yeah, they've confirmed fast track there.
Yeah.
So
when you
thanks
have
for
a
that.
fast track project, you will get 2 submissions and done. The reason resolution must come. What is my design? And that's it.
Billy, are you following the Q&A? Do you have any favorite questions there that you want to ask?
Anything. I have just opened the one that kind of comes to me. What is the preferred method of delay analysis for arbitration? So what, Lucia, what is, in your opinion, what method the arbitrators will not be in favor of, but will appreciate the integrity of the most?
Yes, definitely. What was in the past is like a window analysis, because that was recognized like, okay, it's incorporating the progress quite well. The problem with the delay analysis is usually when the experts will try to analyze it, or arbitrator, there's a lot of pages, but there is no result. Yeah. So they like to have it summarized on a one sheet, like I said, or project, and to present the float of the delays and the issues as a simple story. That is what is preference at the moment.
Yeah, there is. So that question was from Hussein C. Another one, how can we assure, from Amin, how can we assure that the planner, a good planner, will not manipulate the schedule to hide his delay, which happens very often, too often?
Yeah.
Well, you have to be smarter planner to find it.
Now we know you.
Yeah, there's not a lot you can say for that, really. I mean, yeah,
yes.
You've just got to be on top of your game, really.
Yes, absolutely, and I suppose, you know, all of us have experienced the manipulation of EOTs, and you know how they're presented, and you know, the sort of trying to disguise the concurrent delays. So I suppose it is a task, as you mentioned before. It's an investigation that's definitely worth doing, to basically uncover and be able to have all the facts, and then whatever the result is, as long as we know that is credible. The analysis.
Yes. This is why what I'm telling, if two planners are able to discuss openly, it's not actually, decision is not on the planners, and it should not be. There are other people who are involved, because the project and entitlement is not to resolve for planners. It's a whole project team, and we as a planners has to be able to present it in a way when others feel comfortable with our results.
Arun's just said their manipulation happens, but then the customer also hits back. So there's a bit of give and take there as well.
Yes.
I've got one here. It was one of the earlier questions from Steve Borg, something I wasn't aware of, but the word concurrency is not usually defined in the contract documents, especially FIDIC Red Book 99. The contractor will usually argue that there is no concurrency on an employer's delay, which is on the critical path. These are contractors' delay, not on the critical path. The employer will argue the opposite. What, in your experience, is a sensible approach to take when this happens?
Well, it depends on which side I am. Yeah. So it's working for contractor, working for employer. But when you go to the final stage, when you're trying to get some sensible negotiation, definitely me as a delay analyst, I always prefer both parts, because like I said, on that one simple Excel sheet, you can see everything. If you present your S-curves, you are seeing the progress on all projects and your critical paths and what was going on. When there are parallel activities, concurrence is very rare, as we know, and it's difficult to identify. For example, you can have MEP works, like I was telling about skyscraper MEP issues inside, but you can have outside in a parallel facade issues. So if both those big issues are actually like equal magnitude, the concurrent delay must be equal magnitude, and without facade you will not have building. Without MEP you will still not run the building. So if one is contractor delayed, another is employer, then there is a definitely concurrent delay. But it's not about comparing, like this is the shop drawing, you delayed it 10 days, and this is your concurrent delay on the one shop drawing. Yeah, it should be something big, reasonable, and easy to see.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
There is one. It was from Ashley, sir, but okay, I've got it. So Ashley says, good evening. Ashley Desahi, I'm requesting clarification how you may differentiate acceleration versus obligated mitigation by contractor. I work on client team, and usually contractors claim acceleration when actually they are obligated by contract terms to mitigate.
Well, okay, that's an interesting question. Well, mitigation, which the contractors is obligated, something to do for free, which means it will resequence the activities, change the logic, and try to accommodate new situation to make the project faster, and it will not cost him anything. It means he will not include additional resources. When the employer requests to accelerate, or sometimes this type of mitigation is not possible, or another part of mitigation without the resources, with the additional resource, is not possible. So contractor will have to invest money to accelerate the works to make employer happy. And that is when he will ask for the acceleration, for instruction to accelerate, and that when he can achieve some money or to get some money, he should, because he did it for employer to make it faster, and it was not because of his own delay.
And if a delay is happening due to the contractor's fault, and then they have to mitigate / accelerate, then of course that shouldn't be.
That's a different. When it's a contractor's fault, he has obligation to accelerate his own work. Mitigate it. How he is going to do it, if it will cost him or not, that's that's different.
Yeah.
Very good. Matt, anything catching your eye? They just keep piling in.
Yeah, I mean,
no issue.
I think maybe if we can, if you want to just choose one more question each for Lucia, Billy, and Michael, and then we'll sort of wrap it up, because it's going to be impossible to meet the demand with such a great audience. So,
is it possible? Let's
pick the best.
Maybe we need to discuss this. Is it possible to take all these questions and get them answered in a brief caption and share that with the recording, possibly?
Well, I can try. Yeah,
but then you're putting things in writing.
We can take a look. We usually
putting it in writing.
Yeah.
Everyone's aware on the call as well.
I have one very interesting question from Sami Hussain. Is it required to make the project total float equal 0?
Oh, no, we answered that already, didn't we?
Yeah, we answered this, but this one was answered.
Maybe it was put in again. Let me just put down on that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm scrolling through here. Let me try. Sarah says, if there is a delay in construction start time due to the delay of the permission for site release, then should we consider this as a delay event? If yes, which type of method should be applied after the first update of schedule?
We are at the beginning, as I understood, so that will be only impacted as planned. Even when it's only first update, it's very close to the beginning of the job.
So, if yes, which type of method should be applied? Sorry, did you say that before?
Yeah. If it's at the beginning of the job, it's only one option is impacted as planned. You create the fragnet and you impact your baseline to show the true representation of this event.
Good. Billy, any more catching your eye?
Yes, if you have a complicated delays caused by client, contractor, and COVID, which analysis is recommended? This sounds like our everyday. This question is from Amr bin Hamad Al-Sinai.
Yeah, yes. COVID delay event, it's like a disrupted event, basically. It's created disruption. You can't utilize so many people to work at the same time. So you can present this as a classic disruption using end value analysis, for example, and you show the progress before, resources before, and then progress during the COVID, and now as well it's changing and things because it's opening more. So you can build these 3 different scenarios: what was before, what was during the major period of COVID, and now it's getting better. So I think only like this it's presentable. Let's say we can present this type of event. It is difficult to. I'm not saying it's easy to present, but that's all what we can do. Try.
Yeah, and if we can quickly answer this one, please. Aziz Al-Din, in case no approved baseline due to dispute would impact as planned could be applied, will be acceptable to arbitration?
When you don't have approved baseline, yeah, and I mean you go to arbitration, you know what happened on a project. Definitely, you know the actual situation. So actual situation as built will be more appropriate.
Appropriate in that case.
Yeah, because you will build. Sometimes we build the as built situation based on the actual documentation, and you don't need to have programming to do that.
Okay.
Despite all the questions we keep answering, we're still hovering over 30. I'm just looking at the participants. We're still over 200 people involved, so I think we should keep going for another 5-10 minutes, Matt, if everyone's okay. It's gone up to 2:17 now, so I think they're still interested and the questions are still coming in. Let me just go with, this one's from Galaxy S10 Plus. I'm assuming that's a phone and not a person, but most of the contract have baseline program agreed between the parties, but periodically update of this baseline program not happening. In this case, time impact analysis or window slice analysis, which one is handy to use by the contractor?
When you don't have any updated programs, I don't think you can do any of those analysis because time impact need as well updated programs. Or window analysis, that's crucial for those types of analysis. But what you can do, you have your baseline, you have your delay events, which are based on actual records. So you have letters when you support the start of the fragnet and end of the fragnet. So the fragnets are representation of the as-built little bit what happened. So what you can do, you can introduce this into the impacted, to the baseline and prepare the impacted as plan. which could give you a realistic, if you do the correct fragments, you can have a realistic impact even based on impacted S-plan. But if you put all events on a critical path, on a baseline program, basically.
This one from Kavindra. The engineer accepted the impact as plan method to review and determine the extension of time claim 1. Can he change his mind and propose and express his intention to use time impact analysis for the EOT claim number 2?
Well, is it a good change of the for the project? Is your program or is your project at the end? Or would you like to get money? So if you want to get the money, definitely you need to change the type of analysis. So maybe it's beneficial. Yeah, because as we know, impacted S-plan or time impact, sometimes it can create not non-realistic results or too much.
So Lucia, the methods chosen, I suppose, you know, every contractor when submitting the EOT and the time delay analysis of the extension, doesn't that have to be approved by the client?
Well, of course, any delay on an EOT needs to be.
Delay is such the method of analyzing.
Oh, the method of analysis. When the contractor is not saying, also it should be decided as per the project, not and contractor and client should sit together and decide together before they will try to do any type of analysis. So they will avoid this fight if it's proper analysis or not. So it's better to clarify this issue or methodology before.
Yeah.
Or before you appoint someone, it costs a lot of money and then no results.
Yeah.
Okay. One more question, I think. This one caught my eye. It's actually in the chat. Contract stated that contractor, sorry, this is from Suhail. Contract stated that the contractor must submit claim within with details within 28 days after aware of the event. If contractor failed to submit, then employer will not be liable. So what is the importance of time bar, and is contractor will not challenge it? So talking about time bars in claims.
Well, if you have in your contract submitting 28 days claim, it's talking about 28 days for event. So like I said, notice of delay. That's very important to prepare a notice for every delay which you need to do. When you will be aware of the new delay event which happened or new site instruction, that's easy to say. So you will prepare notice of delay or something. You should definitely use like a time impact analysis and to notify the employer about this possible delay. When you not match with this period, yeah, we have opportunity in, I think, according Qatar Civil Code to claim 10 years back. So there we can use the reference to Qatar Civil Code. That's only one option.
Okay, I think we need to have more delay analysis webinars and claims. They're always popular, but we've maintained over 200 participants. We're going to have to wrap it up there, I'm afraid. Sorry to those, we've got over 40 questions open and we've answered over 20. So apologies to those that we can't do this all night. Like I say, maybe we'll have another one in the new year, fairly early on. And
well, one dedicated the questions only. Yeah.
Dedicated. Q&A. You know, we spoke about these webinars before. They're easier to hold face to face. But yeah, we have spoken about Q&A only webinars for specific topics. It's something that we can look into potentially. Matt, I'll hand over to you.
We can have a contractor, an employer, an engineer, and we can discuss about delay even.
Absolutely, great idea.
Discussion.
Yes.
With live examples as well.
Yes.
Sort of like a Jerry Springer show. Matt, I'll hand over to you for closing, please.
Great, thank you, Michael, and yeah, really so pleased with the audience. Thank you very much for sticking with us through the whole evening and engaging in the topics. It's really good to see. Huge thank you to Lucia and Billy for taking the time out again. Really important that we work together at these times and collaborate, and we're really excited about having all the organisations together, all adding value, all bringing the events to life. So thank you very much. We really do appreciate it.
Can we just do a quick plug as well, Matt? You know, we are collaborating here, and so anyone who has joined through NAWIC and is not a member of CIOB, please have a look at CIOB and consider it for your future association accreditation. And likewise, any women participants, members of CIOB, please get involved in NAWIC. As you saw in the video, they've got over 100 members over this past year. It's a fantastic organisation. You can see from the video the events they host. You know, we're competing in that respect with CIOB and NAWIC to host the best events. But when we come together, we can clearly see that we're hosting a good one and having a lot of participants. So please look at the crossover of yourselves and the two associations and get involved wherever you can.
Yeah, I think the key thing is to be involved in some way, and you know, when the networks all come together, it just shows how much you can get involved in and how many opportunities it creates. We'd love to see more females step forward onto our hubs as well. We always want to see diversity. We in the Middle East and North Africa, we have the most diverse group of hub committee members across the globe, but more than any other region. So many different nationalities. I think we've got, for 30 people, we've got something like 17 different nationalities. It's amazing. But we need and we want more women to step forward and join those hubs. So please do. But I think been a great evening. Thank you very much. I don't know if Lucia, Billy, you want to say anything just to close?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for having me here, Lucia. Great presentation. Well done. Matt, you and Mike do a great job, so congratulations, and thank you for supporting NAWIC, and I hope this is first of many more collaborative events that we will have.
Thank you very much also again for invitation. I'm very pleased to hear like you missed some women to present, so at least I know why I was invited. That's good. It's always good. It's always good.
You were invited for your expertise.
Yeah.
You were actually invited before we had the NAWIC idea anyway, but I was actually also trying to scroll through the questions to find the women as well who have asked the questions that we want to encourage to keep everyone's opportunities open in these forums as well. So.
Yeah. Definitely. Thank you very much. Thank you all attendees as well. They survived with me, so I'm very happy for that. And I hope you all enjoy the event.
On the chat as well, had some lovely comments, really enjoyable. People saying great presentation. Thank you very much. And so with that, we'll bid you farewell. And I guess for Doha, it will be goodbye till next year.
Yeah.
But we do have a few other things coming up in the next week or so. Stay tuned, and then we'll be back with you in the new year, where hopefully we'll be half remote and half face-to-face. Who knows?
Sure. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks again, everybody, for joining.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Good evening all.